So for the starting point is, I think we are talking about the retail CBDC rather than a wholesale one. It doesn't necessarily rule out a wholesale one, but I think for us, in terms of the local economy, I think there's probably more need in terms of the retail market to increase competition there and lead to more innovation in those sort of areas. So that's the area that we're concentrating on the moment. One thing's clear to us, it's going to be a two-tier model. The last person you want to have dealing with customers is a central bank. I spent the last sort of 10 years of my life running the markets department. I was very happy we only had one client. Central banks are not good dealing with clients, so we don't want anything to do with it. We want the private sector to deal with the clients. And we also want the private sector to deal with the innovation, because we don't think a central bank is the right body to really lead innovation. So if anything we're going to be doing is we're just going to be building the basic rails of the CBDC and then let the private sector get on with it. And obviously we'll have to have some form of supervision of it, but we want them to be as innovative as possible. And one of the questions I think you sent out to us at the beginning was, are you worried about the disruptive elements of a CBDC? Well, on one point, we want the disruptive elements of a CBDC. We want them to cause change. We don't know quite what that change is going to be. I think this is what Peter alluded to. We don't know what's going to be like it in 10, 15 years' time. We can't imagine it. But we think that the private sector is the right body to do that. There are some areas where we are worried about disruption. We're worried about disintermediation from the banks, people pulling their money out of current accounts. And that will lead to sort of, I think, decisions on paying interest on it. We don't at this point envisage paying interest on a CBDC precisely for that reason, so that there will still be some advantage to hold your money at a bank in terms of pay you an interest rate on it. But we'd want the CBDC to have the ability, at least, that one day we would change our mind that you could pay an interest. But initially, at the starting point, I don't think we'd want to have, and we wouldn't be paying interest on that, precisely because of that sort of fear of disintermediation at the beginning. So those are some sort of starting points that I would think about in terms of how that CBDC would look like.